We pulled another piece of material over this insert for an end cap. In my practice, in particular, we have a lot of geriatrics, people who really aren't responsible enough to maintain themselves with the right ply of socks. Sometimes they sink in too deep. So oftentimes what I'll do is make a 1-inch thick soft plastizote or microcell distal end pad so that they hit the bottom, they start hitting something soft. So we just changed around for a minute. We have enough room on Mark's prosthesis to make it. So this one we picked 1/2 inch, but what we'll do is we pulled it over. This is Mark where we're going to trim it. And I wanted to show you this because this is a little bit different technique in a way to finish the end cap if you have a thicker material. Get the scissor? Okay. Okay, now this is all, cut the scrap away. Okay, now, this fits. And what we're going to do is mark this. That's the slab. Now you just take a scribe around the edge. See that? Okay. And then you glue this together with polyadhesive. And what you want to do is capture the whole picture in here. This is where the back of the insert, the edge of the insert meets up with this end cap. So you want to make sure all that adheres, but you don't want to put any glue, of course, on the interior section, which is going to touch the patient. Paint that. And then you paint the insert up to that scribe mark. And you let it dry. Hold for a minute. So at this point we have the image from where the mandrel exits the model, okay? At this point we want to punch that out so that this whole project will slide on the mandrel. Oh! Okay, we have this punched out now. And now what we're going to do is invaginate this foam, flip it around, okay? Line it up with the mandrel.
Oh, okay.
Flip it around. Okay. Now, this is the reason why we're going through all this. I want to show you a little bit of a different technique in finishing one of these inserts. Imagine this is a 1-inch thick piece of material. We're only using 1/2 inch or 3/8 right now. But the beauty of this is that you can actually file this foam and get a shape. See? So if I wanted to further define maybe the crest of the tibia to make a little bit of a soft pad anteriorly or shape it down in any way I want, I can file this right down to the insert and sculpt out my distal end pad. Now in this case we don't have to do it. I'm just going through this so that for educational purposes so that you understand what we're really up to here. Now if you notice it's very rough looking, but by the time you form your hot thermoplastic over this whole project, this foam will melt right into the insert, and this coarse texture will disappear. This is just a little technique that we developed over here, and feel that it's worthy of a what? Of what, Eric?
Worth showing.
It's worth showing. That's right. It's worthy of a demonstration. See, now in his case, for example, if you had a real sharp distal tibia, I'd leave this foam extending up So that even if you hit that bottom, you have an inch full of thick, soft material.
Uh-huh.
So if you hit something, you're hitting something soft. The whole thing in lower extremity prosthetics is weight bearing. That's why it's so different than upper extremity. You know, upper extremity, there's no weight bearing at all. It's all dexterity. Okay. We're ready to take this insert off and put it back on again and lay this prosthesis up for molding. Okay. There you go. Okay. Okay. At this point, we're going to cut a piece of material and place it in the oven before we lay up the prosthesis. The reason being is it's going to take about 20 minutes for the material to heat up. So it's a little nicer if you have the material heating while you're laying it up. So this way, by the time you lay it up, the material is ready. There's another way to do it if you want to be a union laborer, and that is lay it up and then put the plastic in the oven. Then you can wait for the plastic to heat up for 20 minutes. So we decided to go this route first. This is an EndoFlex standard template. We figured out a way to get 3 BKs out of one piece of material 24 by 48. And this template will work on about 95% of your patients. You don't have to measure it out. Okay, so what you do is trace out this template. You flip it over. The reason for this odd shape, by the way, is because in the pylon area, you don't want too much material. It's going to thin out by the time you get your vacuum. So what we do is thin it out in the area of the pylon, and this odd shape on the top is enough material to cover just about any size prosthetic device. So there you go, 3 pieces, and you have a little left over for the end. Cut this. Now, after the material's been cut, you want to scrape off any burrs. By the way, very important, the material we use to make the EndoFlex prosthesis is nothing but copolymer. This is a copolymer which is generic. It's available on many extruders. It happens to be about 90% polypropylene and 10% polyethylene. The advantage to the copolymer is that you get about the same rigidity as polypropylene, but you get the stress resistance and the crack resistance of the low-density polyethylene. And that's the whole key to the system. If you were to use straight polypropylene, this prosthesis would fracture on the first day. But by using a copolymer, you're allowing the material to bend without putting any stress in it. This, by the way, copolymer has one of the highest flexural moduluses of any thermoplastic available today. And that's the reason why we select it. Also, the thickness of the material is critical. The average patient, for any patients, at this point we have it set up in a way that if you're working with a patient 150 pounds or less and moderately active, you can go to 3/16 inch material, generally. Once you start dealing with patients who are 150 pounds and above and more active, you got to go to 1/4 inch material. And once you reach the level of close to 200, you want to go with an active flex or reinforce it, which we'll go over later on.